Hello and welcome back to WION World is One. I'm Kanishka Sarkar and this is Speed News. Let's take a look at all the stories making headlines at this hour. US President Donald Trump has announced a deal aimed at the complete disarmament of Hamas. Senior Hamas officials say the agreement reached with Israel includes provisions on the group's weapons and a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. The reported deal comes amid continued efforts to reach a broader resolution to the conflict and address key security and political issues. Saudi Arabia and 13 other countries have announced a new maritime defense coalition aimed at protecting freedom of navigation through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Riyadh says the multinational maritime defense alliance will strengthen cooperation to safeguard international trade and energy routes through the strategic waterways. The initiative comes amid rising regional tensions, including attacks on shipping routes by Iran-backed Houthi fighters in Yemen. Egyptian president has warned of serious regional escalation after a drone strike targeted two vessels at Emitia port on the Mediterranean coast. He called on Egypt, Spain, Europe and the wider international community to work together to prevent further tensions in the region. Egyptian authorities are investigating the attack on the US-owned floating storage and regasification unit Energos Winter and the Greek-owned LNG tanker Gaslog Salem. The US Senate has rejected another war powers resolution aimed at restricting President Donald Trump's authority to continue military operations against Iran without congressional approval. The measure failed by a vote of 49 to 50, marking another unsuccessful attempt by lawmakers to limit US military involvement in the conflict. The vote comes amid growing regional tensions and concerns over further escalation.
Section 11 of the Terrorist Act. Terrible terrorist mopping, which is cleaning.
More than 50 activists were arrested outside Westminster Magistrates Court in London during a protest challenging the use of counter-terrorism laws against pro-Palestinian campaigners. Demonstrators, many wearing red or sitting peacefully outside the court, said that the action was aimed at defending freedom of expression and human rights.
Saving lives is not terrorism. Saving lives is not terrorism. Saving lives is not terrorism.
The protest, titled "Saving Lives is Not Terrorism," also criticized the UK government's position on the conflict in Gaza. Authorities have not provided further details on the arrest. A Russian attack on a food business in Ukraine's Pavlohrad city has killed 3 people and injured at least 10, according to regional officials. The strike triggered a fire at the site, with security footage showing the moment of the explosion. Ukrainian authorities said emergency services responded to the damage as investigations into the attack continue. Hundreds of migrants reached Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta on Thursday after crossing from Morocco by swimming through coastal waters and breaching border barriers. Spanish authorities deployed military personnel, police and maritime patrol units along the coastline and roads as the arrivals entered the city. Ceuta and Melilla, Spain's 2 territories in northern Africa, remain key entry points for migrants attempting to reach the European Union. Venezuelan authorities have begun demolishing buildings damaged by last month's deadly earthquakes in La Guaira. Controlled explosions were used to bring down the first of dozens of unstable structures as residents urged officials to ensure no victims remain trapped beneath the rubble before further demolitions. The disaster killed thousands, injured many more, and left more than 1,000 buildings destroyed or damaged. Chile has restored consular relations with Venezuela, marking a new stage in ties between the two South American countries after a diplomatic break. Chilean President José Antonio Cast said that both governments are prepared to work together on shared challenges, including security, migration, and economic development. The move comes after the two nations suspended consular relations in early 2025 amid diplomatic tensions. Cuban president has defended the country's planned economic reforms, saying they are a sovereign choice and not a response to pressure from the United States. Addressing the National Assembly, Canel said that Cuba would allow greater private participation in some sectors while protecting state control over healthcare, education, science, and other strategic services. He rejected fears of large-scale privatization, saying that the reforms were aimed at addressing economic challenges without adopting what he called predatory capitalism. Diaz-Canel also accused U.S. of threatening Cuba but said Havana remained open to resolving differences through dialogue. Colombia's president-elect Abelardo de la Espriella has given guerrilla groups less than a week to surrender before he takes office on August 7th. Addressing security concerns, he warned that armed factions operating in the country that they would face a strong response if they refused to submit to the law. He said there would be no further false peace processes and vowed to back security forces in restoring order. His remarks come ahead of his inauguration, with security expected to be a key focus of his administration. Rescue operations are underway in the southern Italian city of Messina after a three-story building collapsed. 7 people are reported missing and 3 others have been injured, including one person in serious condition, according to local authorities. Firefighters are searching through the rubble as officials work to determine the cause of the collapse. Messina Mayor said that emergency crews are focused on locating the missing people and investigating the circumstances behind the incident. Chile and South Korea have signed a cooperation agreement to expand collaboration in the critical mineral sector, focusing on strategic resources including copper and lithium. Chilean President José Antonio Cast described bilateral relations between the two countries as being in exemplary period. The agreement aims to strengthen trade, investment, and supply chain cooperation as global demand grows for key minerals that are used in advanced industries. Haiti has begun voter registration in the capital, Port-au-Prince, as the country moves toward long-delayed elections amid a worsening security crisis. Registration centers opened in areas considered relatively safe, with residents lining up to receive voter documents. The Provisional Electoral Council says more centers will open across the country in the coming weeks. However, widespread gang violence remains a major challenge, with armed groups controlling large parts of the capital and surrounding regions. Voters say restoring security will be crucial for people to safely participate in the electoral process. Liberian authorities have destroyed around 4.2 metric tons of cocaine seized in the country's largest ever drug bust. The drugs, valued at an estimated $336 million, were burned on the outskirts of Monrovia after being presented as evidence in court. The seizure has implicated senior police officials, with several officers charged or under investigation over alleged links to the shipment. In climate-related updates, heavy rains have sent the flow of South America's iconic Iguazu Falls surging to nearly 3 times its normal rate, creating a dramatic spectacle for visitors. The waterfalls, located on the border between Argentina and Brazil near Paraguay, recorded a flow of more than 4 million liters per second on Thursday, compared with an average of around 1.5 million liters per second. One of the world's new 7 wonders of nature, Iguazu Falls continue to attract tourists drawn by the powerful sight of its solar cascades. On to tech-related developments then. ChatGPT and Roblox could soon face stricter rules in the European Union. The European Commission said that both platforms have reported user numbers above the threshold set under the Digital Services Act. Officials said they could be designated as very large online platforms sooner or later, and if that happens, both the companies will have to follow stricter rules on content moderation, risk management, and user safety. They'll also be required to take greater responsibility for illegal content and be more transparent about how their platforms operate. Alphabet-owned cybersecurity firm Wiz has discovered a major security flaw in Microsoft's Azure Cosmos DB cloud database service. The company said the now-patched vulnerability could have allowed hackers to remotely access thousands of cloud customers. Cosmos DB is widely used to store data for chatbots, web applications, online services, on Microsoft products including Teams and Copilot. Microsoft said it has fixed the issue in coordination with Wiz and found no evidence that any customer was affected. Amazon-owned Zoox has received US approval to commercially deploy its steering wheel-free robo-taxis. The approval allows Zoox to operate up to 2,500 robo-taxis a year for the next 2 years. The vehicles have no steering wheel or pedals and are designed specifically for autonomous ride-hailing. The US Auto Safety Agency said Zoox vehicles meet safety requirements but will face strict reporting rules on crashes and other incidents. Zoox can now charge passengers for rides subject to state and local approvals as it competes with Tesla and Alphabet's Waymo in the growing robotaxi market. On to updates from the world of business. Asian markets staged a strong rebound after a week of steep losses, led by a sharp recovery in South Korean chip stocks. SK Hynix surged 20% after its chairman bought around $3 million worth of shares, a move seen as a vote of confidence in the sector. South Korea's Kospi jumped 13% at the open, while Japan's Nikkei also climbed more than 5% as technology stocks recovered, helping ease concerns over a broader AI-driven sell-off. The gains reflect renewed investor optimism after recent volatility in global semiconductor and tech markets. Apple has reported its strongest June quarter on record, beating Wall Street expectations on the back of robust phone, Mac, and services growth. Revenue rose 16%, supported by a strong rebound in China and solid global demand across all regions. Profit also climbed sharply, reflecting broad-based strength in its product lineup. However, investors were disappointed by a weaker-than-expected outlook for the current quarter, with Apple citing supply constraints despite strong demand. The cautious guidance weighed on sentiment in shares in the after-hours trading. The results also marked Tim Cook's final earnings report as CEO ahead of his transition to executive chairman in September. Microsoft has delivered a major boost to investor confidence after reporting strong earnings and a better-than-expected outlook for its Azure cloud business. Shares surged sharply, driving the company to its biggest one-day increase in market value on record. Adding about $450 billion in market capitalization, investors reacted positively to signs that Microsoft's heavy investments in artificial intelligence are starting to pay off, with double-digit growth in its cloud and AI services helping fuel optimism about future earnings momentum. Amazon is riding the artificial intelligence wave, posting stronger-than-expected second-quarter results as cloud and AI businesses surge. Revenue crossed $200 billion, with AWS sales jumping 37%. The company is also seeing triple-digit growth in some AI divisions, underscoring strong demand for its services. At the same time, Amazon is ramping up investment, raising its 2026 spending forecast as it pours more into data centers, chips, and computing infrastructure. Investors have responded positively, rewarding the company's aggressive AI-driven growth strategy. On to sports-related developments now. Eddie Howe has parted ways with Newcastle United after 5 years at St James Park. Howe's abrupt departure comes less than a month ahead of the new Premier League. Newcastle United are set to replace him with Matthias Yasley of Al Ahly. Howe helped Newcastle to their first major title in 70 years with the 2025 Carabao Cup. As per reports, the separation was amicable as Eddie wants to take a break from football. All three Indians have made the cut for the final showdown of the men's javelin throw at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. India's golden boy Neeraj Chopra qualified fifth with a best throw of 79.61 meters. Chopra returned to the Commonwealth Games 8 years after his gold at the Gold Coast event. Rohit Yadav and Yashveer Singh were the other two Indians to qualify. A total of 12 athletes have qualified for the final, which is set to take place on Friday. European football's governing body, UEFA, says it could boycott the World Cup if FIFA moves ahead with its private investment-backed commercial subsidiary. FIFA has announced the proposed entity would manage major events, including the World Cup and Club World Cup. The move has triggered concerns from UEFA over control, governance, and the future direction of global football. India has added 2 more medals at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, taking its overall tally to 17. Weightlifter Lovepreet Singh secured a silver medal, with discus thrower Seema Kaliramna claimed bronze. The latest victories strengthen India's performance at the Games, with athletes continuing to compete across multiple disciplines. Sean Diddy Combs' release date has been changed to January 24, 2028, after originally being sentenced to 15 months with the release date of April 15, 2028. This week, it was reported that Combs was placed in solitary confinement following a fight with a fellow inmate. Combs is serving his sentence at a low-security federal prison in Fort Dix, New Jersey. A 7-week trial last year in Manhattan federal court centered on drug-fueled and days-long sexual performances, sometimes called freak-offs, between two former girlfriends of Holmes and male sex workers. The trailer for the film adaptation of Tommy Adeyemi's best-selling novel, The Children of Blood and Bone, launched this week. However, Adeyemi said she will not see the film. In a video post on social media, the author called it the worst thing she has ever had to live through. This is despite her role as co-writer and executive producer. She said, and I quote, "I never want to hear about this project again. I don't have anything to say about the people who made it. I do not care anymore. I'm trying to move on. This video might make it worse, but I don't know how it can be any worse." Unquote. Adeyemi is credited as the co-writer and executive producer. Children of Blood and Bone is scheduled to begin its global theatrical release from January 14, 2027. The movie features Viola Davis, Cynthia Erivo, Amandla Sternberg, Regina King, and Damson Idris. The original production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child celebrated its 10th anniversary in London. Since its official premiere in 2016, the play has welcomed over 2.5 million audience members, including more than 300,000 first-time theatre-goers. Directed by John Tiffany and based on an original story by J.K. Rowling, the landmark production holds the record as the longest-running play in modern West End history to be performed as a two-part theatrical experience. The highly anticipated Clueless sequel series has officially been greenlit, with Alicia Silverstone set to reprise her iconic role as Cher Horowitz. The show has received a 6-episode order and is slated to begin production in Los Angeles in 2027. According to sources, the production has submitted paperwork with the California Film Commission to receive state tax subsidies. This project will pick up 30 years after the events of the original 1995 cult classic. Maker of the Odyssey have released the music video for When I'm Home, a song that featured in the credits of Christopher Nolan's directorial. The track has been created by Travis Scott, James Blake, and Ludwig Göransson, who also composed the film's score. The film has amassed nearly $700 million worldwide at the box office. Scott made his feature film debut in The Odyssey. He plays the bard who carries out the invocation of the epic poem at the start of the film. Oscar winner Olivia Colman plays a socially awkward fisherwoman who romances a Wicca husband in the first trailer for Wicca. The absurdist romantic fantasy is set in a medieval village where Colman's protagonist is a lovesick outcast who approaches a basket weaver played by Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage. Wicca is adapted from the short story The Wicca Husband by Ursula Wills-Jones. The romantic fantasy premiered earlier this year at the Sundance Film Festival and will open in cinemas across the UK and Ireland on October 30th. Maika Munro returns to the horror genre with period thriller Victorian Psycho. The movie was first screened at the Uncertain Regard of this year's Cannes Film Festival. Now, in the movie, Munro stars as an eccentric governess whose arrival to the manor attempts to break down an aristocratic family. The cast also includes Thomas Mackenzie, Jason Isaacs, Ruth Wilson, and Hamnet child star Jacoby Hoop.